Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Fatihah binti Suhaimi. The matrix number D201910888534. Introduction: Nuclear Chemistry. Nuclear chemistry is one of the areas related to radioactivity, nuclear processes, and transformations in the nuclei of atoms, such as nuclear transmutations and nuclear properties. This includes the study of the chemical effects resulting from absorption of radiation within living animals, plants, and other materials. Furthermore, it includes research on the production and use of radioactive sources in a series of processes in the field of non-radioactive human activities and use of nuclear processes. Radiochemistry is one of the main areas of nuclear chemistry, which means the chemistry of radioactive materials in which radioactive isotopes of elements are used to study the properties and chemical reactions of non-radioactive isotopes. We were focusing on nuclear chemistry used in rates of radioactive decay. Unstable nuclei undergo spontaneous radioactive decay. As we know, the most common types of radioactivity are alpha decay, beta decay, gamma emission, positron emission, and electron capture.
Hello, my name is Nurul Izzah binti Azizan. So today I want to explain what is cadmium. Bosari said cadmium has no M4-rich properties, and although cadmium and ions are found, it does not dissolve in bases. So, cadmium is in its element from a soft silver-white metal. It is not usually present in the environment as a pure metal, but most often as complex oxides, sulfides, and carbonides in zinc, lead, and copper. In the environment, cadmium is toxic to plants, animals, and microorganisms. Being a simple chemical element, cadmium is persistent, which is it cannot be broken down into less toxic substance in the environment. Cadmium is used to produce a wide variety of consumer and industrial materials such as in nitrate cadmium batteries, pigments for plastic, ceramics, and glasses. So basically, we are doing a research about cadmium, usage of cadmium in environment, and also usage of cadmium in industrial. So first and foremost, we will go through about what is cadmium in the environment. So cadmium occurs naturally in rocks and soils, usually in concentration of less than 1 microgram per gram, but solid derived from some marine black shale, sand from rocks containing lead, zinc mineral frequently contain larger amounts. This may lead to increased cadmium uptake by crops and vegetable grown for human consumption. Anthropogenic source, including smelter emissions and the application of fertilizer and sewage sludge to land, may lead to contamination of both soils and crops. Regional cadmium enrichment or contamination of the surface environment can be delineated by geochemical surveys and by the compilation of soil inventories. The major controlling factors of cadmium transfer and construct a bioaccumulation prediction, which pH was the most important factor contributing to cadmium uptake. No adverse health effects related to cadmium were found in an area where the cadmium intake of the local population was double the estimated United Kingdom average. Okay, so next we will go through in usage of cadmium in the industry. In the countries such as India, the silver jewelry industry is an important cottage industry. Silver is mixed with cadmium used to make silver jewelry. Cadmium is a neurotoxic and nephrotoxic heavy metal, and there are no national policies to prevent exposure to such chemicals. Other than that, soil cadmium contamination is attributable to many sources among ceramics industry, where it's probably an important contributor. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, or we call as CPSC, regulates the safety of toys and other children's products. Although concerns about cadmium in children's jewelry have been expressed in the past, recent Consumer Product Safety Commissions, or we call as CPSC, amendments have substantially tightened consumer protection for these products.
Our main objectives on this topic is number 1, to explore how gamma activation works in nuclear isomers, which is cadmium. Number 2, to identify what is application of gamma activation of cadmium in the environment and industry. Number 3, to identify what is advantage and disadvantage of using gamma activation of cadmium. Number 4, to explore the effect of usage cadmium on health and environment.
So today I will present about a methodology of cadmium of usage to the health and environment. Today, cadmium is usually used in rechargeable batteries, alloys, electroplating solar cells, plastic, stabilizers, and pigments, since it has been an important metal in production of nickel cadmium, or also known as NiCd. So there are a few steps to produce cadmium. First of all, cadmium is found in zinc ores, zinc-bearing lead ores, or complex copper lead zinc ores, since it is not present as a pure metal in the environment. It usually forms an isomorphic impurity in zinc minerals ferrite ZNS. Secondly, the cadmium will be processed by flotation or heavy media separation to yield concentrates. Thirdly, it will process further to recover the primary metal, which is zinc, lead, or copper. The cadmium normally will process in zinc recovery circuits, as it is associated closely with zinc in its chemical properties. Now, most zinc along with cadmium will be recovered by using electrolyte techniques. However, in industries, some workers who are involved in landfill operations, the recycling of electronic parts and recycling plastics may be exposed to cadmium. So it is crucial for them to be more aware towards the exposure. This is because the exposure of cadmium may affect the kidneys and bones. Someone's health will be more critical if the cadmium attach and damage the blood filtration system of the kidneys, which the results in the proteins will be excreted in urines. It also may affect people during inhalation. In addition, the effect of cadmium also depends on duration and magnitude of exposure.
Results and discussion. One of the applications of gamma rays of cadmium is in vivo from gamma neutron activation analysis of cadmium in the kidney and liver. In vivo method is measurements are performed on the body of the living subject, which is human or animal, without taking the sample out of the living subject. Usage. Absolute levels of cadmium in the kidney and concentrations of cadmium in the liver were measured in vivo in 20 healthy adult males. The cadmium contents on the liver and kidney were measured by pGNAA, which means from gamma neutron activation analysis. Organ cadmium levels of smokers were significantly elevated above those of non-smokers. Average total body burden of cadmium in men at age 50 was estimated to be 90.3 mg for non-smokers and 35.5 mg for smokers. biological half-time for cadmium in the body was estimated to be 15.7 years.
There are a lot of advantages in using cadmium, such as it is fast and simply charged even after prolonged storage. Besides, it has a high number of charge and discharge, especially if it is maintained properly. Next, cadmium has a good load performance since it is allowed to charge at low temperature. In addition, the product produced from cadmium, like NICD batteries, is really worth buying since it is one of the products that is economically priced. Cadmium plating that is used in industry also has numerous advantages, such as improvement in adhesive property, which makes the object surface more bondable to adhesive that is usually used in aerospace manufacturing. Besides, in concern of environmental situations, the cadmium plating is needed to avoid corrosion. Based on these reasons, suppliers are more interested in using cadmium plated balls for machinery to be used in harsh environmental conditions.
And lastly, cadmium strongly absorbs organic matter in soils. When cadmium is present in soils, it can be extremely dangerous as the uptake through food will increase. Soils that are acidified enhance the cadmium uptake by plants. This is a potential danger to the animals that are dependent upon the plant's survival. Cadmium can accumulate in their bodies, especially when they eat multiple plants. Animals eating or drinking cadmium sometimes get high blood pressure, liver disease, and nerve or brain damage. As awareness of the adverse impacts of cadmium has increased, many users have been reduced significantly in industrialized countries, and waste management systems have been put in place to limit the release of cadmium into the environment. In contrast, in some developing countries, some users are increasing and products containing cadmium are not typically collected separately from the general waste stream. Therefore, cadmium discards will end up in municipal waste and disposed of in landfills, in open burning, or indiscriminate dumping. Some of the cadmium in these products will be released to the environment.
In conclusion, each element or substance that has been used in chemistry has their pros and cons, so it is crucial for humans to take good care and always be aware in handling those substances, especially when it relates to the environment and industry. Since the consumption of cadmium in industry is decreasing, nowadays 92% of cadmium production was recycled from NICD batteries. From this situation, we can learn that in handling the substance of nuclear isomers, we need to creatively reuse, reduce, and recycle the substances in order to save our environment in future for a better health and a better environment.